Could one ingredient really change the course of your entire life? For Jordan Peterson, the world-renowned psychologist, this question wasn't just theoretical. Seeing his success of today, you probably would have never guessed that just a few years ago, he was suffering from a life-changing health crisis that almost cost him everything. This is the extraordinary story of Jordan Peterson and how something seemingly simple such as a diet change helped him become one of the most influential people in the world. Known for his innovative teaching style, Peterson distinguished himself as a very forward-thinking academic. His time at Harvard established his reputation as someone who questioned traditional psychology and delved deep into human behavior. In 1998, Jordan Peterson made a big move. He came back to Canada and started teaching full-time at the University of Toronto. At the university, Peterson was known for pushing new ideas in psychology. His main focus was on the meaning of life, which he often talked about in his classes. But he didn't know that soon his ideas and beliefs would be put to the test. What was coming next would not only shake up his career, but also challenge him personally in ways that he never expected. A new Canadian law was passed called Bill C-16. This law was about using specific words for gender identities. Peterson was worried that this would limit free speech, reminding him of the similarities in dictator-led countries that he had studied. This fear stemmed from his understanding of how these authoritarian governments historically emerge and exert control very slowly over time. Peterson's opposition to the bill was a reflection of his deep-seated concerns about political and psychological freedom. His outspoken critique of Canada's Bill C-16, which he viewed as an infringement on free speech, shot him into the global spotlight. This newfound fame with the release of his new best-selling book, 12 Rules for Life, further amplified his public profile. However, at the peak of his professional success, Peterson faced a personal health crisis and would finally be put to the ultimate test of being able to actually practice what he's been preaching. And most of this was due to the medication that he was taking called benzodiazepines, often called benzos. These are drugs that are used for treating anxiety and sleep problems, but they can be very risky if used for too long or stopped suddenly. They work by slowing the activity of the nervous system, which in turn helps calm and relax a person who may be anxious or having difficulty sleeping. While benzodiazepines can be effective at managing these conditions, they also carry some serious risks. One major drawback is that they can become very addicting over time and, if suddenly stopped after long use, can cause withdrawal symptoms like severe anxiety, sleep issues, seizures, and more. At the same time, another story was unfolding within his family. Jordan's daughter, Michaela, was dealing with her own health issues. She had her share of struggles from a young age. Diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis at 2 years old, her childhood was overshadowed by constant pain and medical treatments. By her teenage years, the situation grew so severe that she underwent multiple joint replacement surgeries. As 2019 came to an end, the health challenges facing Jordan Peterson intensified. His struggle with benzodiazepines had reached a critical point. The situation worsened as he abruptly stopped the medication, leading to severe withdrawal symptoms. Jordan struggled with intense insomnia, making it hard for him to get any rest at all. Day after day, he was exhausted, but sleep just wouldn't come. His anxiety, which the medication had helped control, came back even stronger. This made every day a living hell. He also suffered from physical problems like muscle spasms and shaking, which made normal activities very difficult. Even talking, something Peterson was known for, became an everyday struggle. His thoughts weren't as clear as before, and he found it hard to focus and express himself like he used to. At this point, Michaela and Jordan knew something needed to happen. This was when they had to make a critical decision. After trying various treatments in Canada and the USA without any success, they eventually traveled to Russia in search of alternative treatments. As a part of this treatment, he was put in a medically induced coma for 8 days, all in an attempt to manage his severe withdrawal symptoms that he was experiencing. As 2020 came around, a pivotal moment happened in Peterson's journey. Emerging from his medically induced coma, Jordan faced a new challenge: rebuilding his health from the ground up. However, it's important to note that both he and his daughter Michaela had already started on their carnivore journeys by this point.
Been eating beef fundamentally for almost 5 years now.
Michaela's path began in 2015 with dietary changes and evolved into a strict carnivore diet by 2017 after her first pregnancy, which led to significant health improvements. Jordan, who was influenced by her success, had fully embraced the carnivore diet by 2018. Mikhaila Peterson's journey towards the carnivore diet was shaped by a lifelong struggle with severe health issues. From a very young age, she dealt with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, depression, anxiety, and a range of debilitating conditions. Her health dramatically worsened in college, leading to her leaving school to focus on curing her illness. Her journey began with cutting out common culprits such as dairy and gluten, as well as many other foods, eventually setting on a diet consisting of meat and salad. However, her health improved dramatically when she finally transitioned to an all-meat diet. The discovery of the carnivore diet came at a crucial time when Mikhaila was experiencing a surge in her symptoms post-pregnancy. After coming across Sean Baker on Joe Rogan's podcast, who discussed his own positive experiences with a meat-only diet, Mikhaila decided to try the carnivore diet for herself. This was when she finally came to the realization that this diet was even possible in the first place. She transitioned to an all-meat diet, and within weeks, she experienced remarkable improvements in her health, including the alleviation of itching and arthritis symptoms and a significant lift in her depression. This transition to the carnivore diet by Mikhaila not only transformed her health, but also influenced her father. He also adopted this diet and reported significant improvements in many of his health issues. Jordan Peterson's life-changing transformation following his recovery from his benzodiazepine withdrawal can be closely linked to his adoption of the carnivore diet. After experiencing long and challenging withdrawal phase and a medically induced coma in Russia, Peterson emerged with significant physical and cognitive challenges. It was during this crucial stage in his recovery that the carnivore diet played such an important role. Today, he credits the carnivore diet for giving him enhanced mental clarity, energy levels, and significant relief from symptoms that had plagued him before. Although this diet seems very unconventional at first glance, this diet proved almost essential in his journey back to health. He has now risen to the top where he has a greater influence than ever before and claims that he can read even better than he did when he was in his 20s, despite the fact that he's been aging and suffered from a severe health crisis not too long ago. So now you might be wondering, what evidence is there backing this diet? To understand this, we must dive into a bit of human history, tracing back to the roots of our species. Some of the most solid concrete evidence we have is stable isotope data. Long before supermarkets and global food chains existed, our diets were far different than they are today. We are told that we were hunters and gatherers, but this doesn't really paint the most accurate picture. We were most likely primarily hunters and gathered during times of starvation. And as it turns out, for the majority of human history, our survival relied heavily on meat. More specifically, the flesh and associated fat from large ruminant animals. So the fact that Jordan Peterson seems to be thriving by only eating beef, which is a large ruminant animal, isn't very surprising. Like every other species of animal on this planet, each species of animal has a species-appropriate, species-specific diet. For example, cows have evolved to digest grass and only specific types of grasses as their species-appropriate diet. And when they deviate from this, they get the same diseases that humans get. For example, conventionally raised cows that are fed corn and soy typically get very sick as they have not evolved the physiological adaptations to specifically break down those plants properly. Therefore, it is no surprise that we seem to get these similar diseases when we deviate from our own species-appropriate diet. This meat-centric way of life began to change with the start of the agricultural revolution about 10,000 years ago, which is a blink of an eye in terms of our evolution of about 300,000 years in our current speciation and about 4.5 million years in very similar forms. This marked a pivotal point in human history as our diets started incorporating more plant-based foods. But this shift wasn't just a change in eating habits, it represented a fundamental transition in human culture and nutrition and the rise of modern-day diseases. After seeing the journey of Jordan Peterson and his daughter Mikhaila, let's zoom out to see the bigger picture. Recently, there's been a significant surge in people that are interested in the carnivore diet. The surge in popularity can be attributed to several key influencers and platforms that have brought this diet into the limelight.
My right eye, which was quite cloudy, is cleared up completely. What else has changed? Well, I lost 50 pounds, and like instant.
For instance, the impact of Joe Rogan's podcast. Known for delving into a wide array of topics, Rogan's discussions about the carnivore diet with various advocates have sparked curiosity and interest among millions of people. It's about providing the body with all of the nutrients that it needs from meat, which is not only nutrient dense but also highly bioavailable, meaning our bodies can efficiently utilize these nutrients. Concerns like vitamin C deficiency, which is a common question due to the absence of fruits and vegetables, don't seem to be an issue on this diet. The carnivore diet operates on the principle that without carbohydrates, our body's nutrient requirements differ significantly, often being much lower. This means that the small amount of vitamin C found in animal flesh is sufficient to maintain optimal levels, debunking the myth that one must consume fruits and vegetables to avoid deficiencies like scurvy. Specifics on how this might play out varies among individuals. For some, this might mean eating just beef and water. For others, it could involve including a more diverse range of animal-based foods. For those with the most severe conditions, it seems that the base of beef, salt, and water can work wonders. Jordan Peterson's insane recovery from a severe health crisis through the adoption of an all-meat diet challenges conventional nutritional wisdom. His story and Mikhail's dramatic health improvements provide a compelling case study of the transformative potential of carnivorous diets.